Lily's fascination with the haunting house began when she stumbled upon an old photograph in the local historical society. A sense of foreboding lingered in their eyes, as if they knew something others didn't. Lily was captivated by the image, haunted by the desire to uncover the secrets that had long been buried within those decaying walls. One stormy afternoon, Lily stood before the haunting house, clutching a flashlight and a notebook. Her heart pounded as she took a hesitant step onto the creaking porch. The wind howled, as if warning her to turn back, but she pressed on. With a deep breath, she turned the rusty knob and entered the house. The interior was even more decrepit than she had imagined. Cobwebs hung from the ceiling like grotesque tapestries, and the air was thick with the scent of decay. Lily's flashlight illuminated dust-covered furniture and faded wallpaper peeling away like the skin of a long-forgotten memory. As she moved deeper into the house, a chill settled in her bones, and she could feel the weight of unseen eyes upon her. The creaking of floorboards echoed through the silence as she ascended the grand staircase, her footsteps growing fainter with each step. She paused outside a door that seemed to beckon her, its handle gleaming eerily in the dim light. Slowly, hesitantly, she pushed it open. The room was a time capsule of the past, frozen in a state of disarray. An old writing desk stood against one wall, covered in dusty books and faded parchment. Lily's heart quickened as she realized that this room might hold the key to the house's history. As she began to sift through the papers, she came across a journal with weathered pages and elegant cursive writing. The entries were filled with tales of happiness and despair, of laughter and tears, and of a love that transcended time. The last entry, dated decades ago, spoke of a looming darkness that threatened to consume everything the author held dear. Lily's pulse raced as she read, and an inexplicable feeling of dread washed over her. The room seemed to close in around her, the shadows deepening as if they were alive. She turned to leave, but the door slammed shut with a resounding boom. Her flashlight flickered, casting grotesque shapes on the walls. Panic surged through Lily as she struggled to open the door. It was as if the house itself had turned against her, its very essence a malevolent force that sought to keep her trapped within its walls. Desperation clawed at her as she pounded on the door, her voice lost in the void. Panic surged through Lily as she struggled to open the door. It was as if the house itself had turned against her, its very essence a malevolent force that sought to keep her trapped within its walls. Desperation clawed at her as she pounded on the door, her voice lost in the void. Suddenly the room plunged into darkness, and a chilling whisper filled the air. "Lily!" She froze, her heart pounding, as a pale figure emerged from the shadows. It was a woman, ethereal and sorrowful, her eyes reflecting a pain that spanned generations. Her voice trembled as she spoke, recounting a tragic tale of love, betrayal, and a desperate attempt to seal away a darkness that had taken root within the house. Tears welled in Lily's eyes as she listened, her empathy bridging the gap between the living and the spectral. She realized that the house was a vessel for the darkness, a prison constructed to contain an evil that threatened to consume everything it touched. The woman's voice grew more urgent as she pleaded for Lily's help, for a chance to break the cycle of pain and darkness that had plagued the house for so long. With a surge of determination, Lily vowed to help the tormented spirit. Armed with the knowledge of the house's history, she began to research ancient rituals and incantations that could banish the darkness once and for all. Nights turned into days as she delved deeper into the occult, her obsession driving her to the brink of exhaustion. Finally, armed with the newfound knowledge, Lily returned to the haunting house. The air crackled with tension as she stood in the room where she had first encountered the spirit. With trembling hands, she recited the incantation, her voice steady despite the fear that threatened to overwhelm her. As the final words left her lips, A surge of energy rippled through the room. The air seemed to shimmer, and Lily felt a weight lifting from her shoulders. The walls themselves seemed to sigh in relief as the darkness receded, vanquished by the power of the ritual. The woman's form grew brighter, her features more defined. She smiled, a bittersweet expression that held the promise of release. And then, with a final whisper of gratitude, she vanished, leaving behind an air of serenity that had been absent for decades. Lily stood in the now peaceful room, her heart heavy with the weight of the past. The haunting house had been a vessel of pain, but through her courage and determination, it had finally found redemption. As she stepped out into the sunlight, she couldn't help but feel a sense of closure, as if she had played a part in a story that had spanned generations. The haunting house would always be a place of mystery, but now it held a different kind of mystery, a mystery of redemption and healing, a reminder that even the darkest of places can find their way back to the light. And for Lily, it was a reminder that sometimes the greatest stories are the ones that are waiting to be uncovered, hidden within the shadows of the past.